Here's my final capstone project. First of all, I did a presentation on Piet Mondrian and studied all of his work and his timeline and all of the paintings he's done. And two that stuck out to me were the Evening Red Tree and his composition studies. And so for my final capstone, I want to do two paintings representing these two different styles from his life. Here is the reference that I chose to base my painting of a tree off of. And first I started with a sketch for the more impressionistic style painting. And I started painting in the sky first, and then putting in the composition of the red trunk and putting some red in the foreground as well. Then I put in the green. Then I started to add lighter value and darker elements in it as well. Then I added red throughout to kind of put in that warmth in the tree that I was looking for. And then I put in a darker blue to balance out the red. And here is the final product. You can see that I put the dark blue throughout the painting to kind of unify it, along with the light blue from the sky down in the foreground. There's pinks, reds, yellows, and just to create that unity throughout the piece. And then I used loose brushwork that is common in impressionistic styles. Then I started the distill movement painting. I did start out with a sketch of a tree just so I could remember the composition, and then I kind of found these squares and built it on top of the tree, and you can still see the sketch of the tree below. First, I started painting with red, and I noticed throughout his paintings that he stuck to a certain amount of red squares in his paintings. One of them was 3 red squares, 3 blue squares, so I started with red and blue and then filled in with yellow and black. So there are 4 black squares and 10 yellow squares. You can still see that it follows the pattern of the movement of the tree in the foreground, but I added black here and yellow up here just to kind of balance out the composition in an asymmetrical way. And then you can see that the base is very dirty, and so I repainted white back in and I got my cleaner lines. And then I put in the black lines and noticed that I did it pretty messily, so then I went back in and cleaned up my lines, and there's the finished look. And here are the paintings side by side, which also does resemble Mondrian's style progression from similar ideas of the Evening Red Tree to his compositional studies, yet using naturalistic compositions to create the abstract one. And here are my citations. Thank you.